You're listening to Unseen Scars, a space for real voices, real pain, and real stories that often go unheard. Tonight's story comes from a man who is still married, still shares a bed with his wife, but feels like he's sleeping next to a ghost. The silence in his house is louder than any argument ever could be. Let's hear the story. I'm not sure if this is the right place for this. Nothing has actually happened. There was no big fight, no affair that I know of, no moment where one of us threw a plate or packed a bag. That's the problem, I think. Nothing has happened, and everything is wrong. My wife is asleep next to me right now. I'm writing this on my phone, with the screen brightness turned all the way down. Her name is Sarah. She's lying on her side, facing away from me, like always. I can hear her breathing. It's a soft, steady rhythm. In, out, in, out. For years, that sound was the most comforting thing in the world. It was the sound of safety, the sound of home. Now it just feels empty. It's just air moving in and out of a body that happens to be near mine. We've been married for 14 years, together for 17. We have a house, 2 cars that are almost paid off, a golden retriever named Gus, who is currently snoring at the foot of the bed. We have a life. From the outside, I'm sure it looks perfect, stable, the kind of life people want. Our friends probably think we're the solid ones, the ones who figured it out. They don't see the space between us in this king-size bed. It feels like a canyon. Sometimes in the middle of the night, my leg will accidentally brush against hers, and we both flinch. Not a big, dramatic jerk, just a tiny, involuntary tightening of muscles. A retreat. A silent agreement not to touch. When was the last time we touched on purpose? I mean, really touched, not just a peck on the cheek as I'm leaving for work. I've been trying to remember for weeks. Was it 6 months ago? A year? I honestly can't recall. The memory is gone. It must have been so insignificant that my brain just didn't bother to log it. Our conversations are about logistics. It's like we're co-managers of a small, uninteresting business called Our Household. Who's picking up the dog food? Did you call the plumber about the leaky faucet in the guest bathroom? The property tax bill came in the mail. Can you grab milk on your way home? That's it. That's the full extent of our dialogue. There are no, how are you feeling questions. No, what are you thinking about? There's definitely no, I miss you. Because how can you miss someone who is sitting right across the dinner table from you, scrolling through her phone? I miss the woman I married. I miss her more than anything. But I'm starting to wonder if she even exists anymore. Or maybe I'm the one who's gone. We met at a friend's 4th of July barbecue. Classic, right? She was a high school English teacher. I was just starting to move up at the construction company I work for. I saw her from across the lawn laughing at some dumb joke my buddy Mike made. It was a real laugh, the kind that makes your eyes crinkle up. I was a goner. We talked for 3 hours straight next to a cooler of cheap beer while fireworks were going off. We talked about everything and nothing. The terrible movies we loved, our weird families, the fact that we both hated cilantro. It was easy. So easy. Our first few years were like that. Easy. We bought this house. We painted the walls ourselves, getting more paint on our clothes than on the drywall. We adopted Gus. We'd take long drives on Sundays with no destination just to see where we'd end up. We used to talk for hours. I'd tell him about the politics and the idiots at the job site, and she'd tell me about the kids in her classes, the funny things they'd say, the ones she was worried about. I felt connected to her world, and she felt connected to mine. We were a team. We were us. When did us die? There wasn't a funeral. There was no single moment. It was a slow fade to gray, a quiet erosion over years. It started with little things. We stopped having dinner at the table. Instead, it was on trays in front of the TV. But we weren't watching the same show. She'd have her laptop open, grading papers, or watching some British drama, and I'd have some sports game on. We were in the same room, but we weren't together. The silence was filled by the noise from our screens. Then the goodnight kisses became routine, a quick, dry press of lips. Then they became a murmur of night from across the room as one of us went to bed before the other. Now, most nights there's nothing. She'll just get up from the couch, turn off her lamp, and walk into the bedroom. I'll follow an hour later. The lights are already out. She's already facing the wall. I tried. I think I tried. A few years ago, I noticed the distance, and I tried to fix it. I planned a weekend trip to the coast, to this little town we went to when we were first dating. I thought maybe we could find that magic again. But it was just awkward. We were two strangers trying to pretend we weren't. We had dinner at a nice restaurant, and I could feel the pressure to make conversation. I asked about work. She gave one-word answers. She asked about my mom. I said she was fine. Then we just sat there listening to the conversations at the tables around us, hearing other people laugh and connect. The quiet between us was deafening. We walked on the beach afterwards. I tried to hold her hand. She let me for a minute, but her hand was just limp in mine. There was no squeeze back. After a block, she pulled it away to put it in her jacket pocket. "It's cold," she said. It wasn't that cold. We went back to the hotel, and she went straight into the bathroom for a long shower. When she came out, she got into her side of the bed, picked up a book, and didn't look at me. I knew then. That was it. We weren't coming back from this. We had sex that night, but it felt desperate, obligatory, an attempt to prove something that wasn't true. It was mechanical and silent. And afterwards, she just rolled over and went to sleep. I lay awake for hours, staring at the ceiling, feeling colder and more alone than I have ever felt in my entire life. I never planned another trip. What do you do when your marriage is a ship that's slowly taking on water? But so slowly, you're not sure if it's actually sinking or if this is just what it's like to be on the water for a long time. Is this just what 15 years looks like? Do all couples end up like this? Cohabitating strangers who share a mortgage? I see our friends Mike and Jess. They still laugh together. He'll put his arm around her at a party. They bicker, sure, but they're engaged with each other. They're still in the same story. Sarah and I are in different books. We're just sitting in the same library. Her nightstand is a perfect metaphor for it. There's a stack of 5 books there, novels by authors I've never heard of. There's a special tea she drinks before bed, some chamomile thing. There's a lavender-scented lotion. It's a whole little world over there, on her side of the bed, her own private ritual. I know nothing about it. I don't know what the books are about. I don't know when she started drinking that tea. I don't know when she started using that lotion. And the worst part is, she doesn't know that I don't know. She's never tried to tell me. And I've stopped asking. When did I stop asking? That's on me, isn't it? I must have. At some point, her one-word answers trained me not to ask anymore. It was easier not to. It was less painful to accept the silence than to get a response that made it clear I wasn't welcome in her inner world. Last month, I had a really bad day at work. A subcontractor completely screwed up a foundation pour, and it's going to cost us tens of thousands of dollars and weeks of delays to fix. It was all on me. My fault. I came home feeling like I'd been kicked in the gut. I was stressed, angry, and just defeated. I walked in the door, and Sarah was in the kitchen, chopping vegetables for dinner. "Hey," she said, not looking up. "Hey," I said. I stood there for a moment, waiting, hoping she'd see it on my face, hoping she'd ask, "What's wrong?" The old Sarah would have known something was up the second I walked in the door. She would have put the knife down, turned around, and looked at me. Really looked at me. This Sarah just kept chopping. The rhythmic thud of the knife on the cutting board was the only sound. "Bad day?" I finally said, my voice sounding weak even to me. "Same old," she said, not asking me, just answering a question I hadn't asked. And that was it. I walked past her, dropped my keys in the bowl by the door, and went to change out of my work clothes. I wanted to scream. I wanted to shake her and say, "Look at me. Your husband is standing here falling apart, and you can't even look up from a damn onion." But I didn't. I just went upstairs, closed the bedroom door, and sat on the edge of the bed. Our bed. I sat there until the shaking in my hands stopped. Gus came and put his head on my knee, looking up at me with those big, sad eyes. At least someone in this house could see I was hurting. I know I'm not blameless. I must have done things. I must have pulled away too. Maybe I got too wrapped up in work. Maybe I stopped being interesting. Maybe I stopped complimenting her. Maybe I'm the one who started the silence. It's impossible to know who cast the first stone when all you can see is the rubble. All I know is that I'm lonely. It's a profound, hollow kind of loneliness. It's the loneliness of being invisible to the one person you chose to see you forever. Sometimes I test it, just to see if she'll notice. I'll say something completely random during a commercial break. "I think I want to learn how to rock climb." And she'll just nod, her eyes still on her phone. "That's nice, honey." No follow-up question, no curiosity, no engagement at all. I could have said, "I think I want to set the couch on fire," and I'm pretty sure I'd get the same response. It makes me feel crazy. Am I even here? Am I a ghost in my own life? The intimacy isn't just physical. That's the easy thing to point to, but it's a symptom, not the disease. The real disease is the death of curiosity. We are no longer curious about each other. I have no idea what she dreams about, what she's afraid of, what made her laugh today. And she has no idea about me. She doesn't know that I've been thinking about quitting my job. She doesn't know that my dad's health has me scared to death. She doesn't know that I saw an old friend from college last week and felt a pang of jealousy for his messy, complicated, but very much alive-looking life. She doesn't know because she doesn't ask. And I don't tell her because I know she won't really listen. The words would just hang in the air between us and then fall to the floor. Another piece of clutter in a house already full of unspoken things. I look at our wedding photo on the dresser sometimes. We're so young. I'm 28, she's 25. We look like kids. We're smiling, holding hands, and we both have this dumb, hopeful look in our eyes. We're looking at each other like we're the only two people in the world. I try to remember what that felt like. It's like trying to remember the details of a dream you had years ago. The feeling is a faint echo, but the specifics are gone. I don't know that man in the picture anymore, and I definitely don't know his wife. So what now? This is the question that haunts me every night in this silent bed. What is the next step? Do we just keep this up for another 20, 30, 40 years? Do we keep managing our little household business until one of us dies and the other one has to file the final paperwork? The thought makes my chest feel tight. Do I say something? Do I break the silence? I've played the conversation out in my head 1,000 times. I sit her down. I say, Sarah, we need to talk. I'm not happy. Are you? What if she says she's perfectly fine? What if she's content with this quiet arrangement? That would be worse, I think. That would mean this is all she wants from me, a roommate who helps pay the mortgage. What if she says she's not happy either? Then what? Couples therapy? My friend Dave suggested it once. You guys should see someone. The idea of sitting in a sterile office with a stranger trying to explain this gigantic, shapeless nothing that has grown between us, it feels impossible. Where would we even start? Hello, doctor, my wife and I have forgotten how to speak to each other. And then there's the nuclear option, divorce. Just the word feels foreign and ugly. Divorce. It means lawyers and dividing assets and telling our families. It means breaking the heart of my parents who adore Sarah. It means figuring out who gets Gus. It means selling this house, the only home I've really ever known as an adult. It means failure, a public, spectacular failure of the most important thing I've ever built in my life. Am I willing to blow up this entire life, this quiet, stable, predictable life, for the chance of being happy again? For the chance of not feeling so gut-wrenchingly alone? I'm 42 years old. Starting over sounds terrifying. So I do nothing. I lie here night after night next to her warm, sleeping body that might as well be on another continent. I listen to her breathe, and I wonder if she's ever lying here, awake, thinking the same things. Is she on her phone, typing out her own story into the void? Or is she just asleep? That's the question that really kills me. Is she in the same silent hell as I am, or am I in here all by myself? She just sighed in her sleep, a little puff of air. For a second, her foot touched my calf. I didn't flinch this time. I just let it rest there. It's not warm, it's not cold, it's just there. A neutral fact. A body part next to my body part. There is no spark, no comfort, nothing. It's just proximity. And I think that's what our marriage is now. Just proximity. We exist in the same space at the same time. But we are not together. Not in any way that matters. This bed has never felt so empty. That's where Mark is, in the quiet of his own home. Thank you for sharing your story with us, Mark. And to everyone listening, thanks for being here. We'll see you in the next story.